Hello and welcome to our YouTube support video on dealing with potentially hazardous outcomes in HazWasteOnline. In HazWasteOnline, a determinant highlighted in orange in your job, or an orange star by the sample name, indicate that a hazard statement has been triggered that needs to be addressed by the classifier. A potentially hazardous outcome can be the result of a substance containing a hazard statement which has no threshold. As we can see in the Tests tab of a HazWasteOnline job, the first 19 hazard statements have a threshold of 0, meaning if the substance you're assessing contains one of these hazard properties, you will need to address it for anything above a limit of detection result. In the following worked example, we have results for various hydrocarbon tests which we have input into the determinant TPH C6 to C40 petroleum group, and the benzene toluene, ethylbenzene, and xylene determinants. After clicking Classify All, the determinants highlights in orange indicating they contain a potentially hazardous hazard statement. To address it, click the Tests tab and there will be an orange star next to the triggered hazard statement, HP3 Flammable in this case. Clicking the orange star brings up a table documenting all of the substances contributing to the potentially hazardous outcome, and you can see the total concentration for each sample. Next, click the Change Settings for All Samples box, which will allow you to input a threshold to turn the hazard statement into a hazardous outcome or non-hazardous outcome, citing your reason. In this example, we are turning it non-hazardous by inputting 100 mg per kilogram for the threshold, as this is larger than our total concentration of 75 mg per kilogram, and inputting our reasoning of no liquid phase, too low concentration for solid waste to be flammable. After clicking the OK buttons, if we now click the Classify All button again, the sample has become a non-hazardous outcome. And if we click the Preview button for the classification report for the sample, we can see our reasoning has been documented. A common potentially hazardous outcome is HP3 Flammable, which will be triggered through commonly tested determinants such as TPH. The WM3 guidance contains a worked example on assessing HP3 Flammable for a soil sample containing 12,500 mg per kilogram of TPH. Here, the reason they cite for discounting HP3 is that there was no liquid phase, and the concentration was too small for the laboratory to conduct an ignition test. Laboratories can provide ignition tests to definitively determine whether the sample is flammable. Another scenario which can result in a classifier encountering a potentially hazardous result is through pH and obtaining a pH acid-alkali reserve test. A common problem with Chapter 17 construction and demolition wastes can arise when a waste with materials such as concrete can cause a high pH result above the 11.5 hazardous threshold. For more details on this technical scenario, please give our help page in the video description on concrete and high pH a read. As seen in this example, we have a pH result which is currently hazardous and are inputting a result for the pH acid-alkali reserve test. Upon reclassification, the pH result has turned orange, indicating it is now a potentially hazardous hazard statement that needs addressing. Clicking on the Tests tab, we can see both the hazard properties for pH, HP4 Irritant, and HP8 Corrosive have an orange star next to them. Clicking on one of these orange stars brings up the summary box, where we can click the Change Settings for All Sample button. This brings up the potential result of the acid-alkali reserve test to confirm. For this scenario, we are choosing the option No in vitro testing undertaken, not hazardous by HP4, HP8, concrete, high pH, and citing a reason that the sample contained concrete fragments and a low acid-alkali reserve test result. Clicking the OK button and reclassifying results in the 11.5 pH result, now reflecting a non-hazardous outcome as both HP4 and HP8 have been addressed. Thank you for watching, and please contact our support team for any further technical assistance.